We now begin 7th chapter of Gita. Gita 7th chapter. This is also known as Gyan Vigyan Yoga. The chapter discusses Gyan and Vigyan. These two terms, Gyan and Vigyan, they will keep coming in the subsequent chapters. Gyan basically means the theoretical knowledge of spirituality, and Vigyan means the realization when you actually see things like that. And once a person has the actual realization, his worldview changes completely. When you have a theoretical understanding of things, the world appears in one way, and when you have an actual realization of those very facts, the worldview changes. This we will be discussing as and when we come across these terms. Now, 7th chapter can very clearly be divided into two parts. The first part, which we will be taking up today, is about nature of God. What is the nature of God? What is God? The nature of God. So, in between, they will be extolling the devotees who go all out for God, but in general, the 7th chapter discusses the nature of God, and 10th chapter, 11th chapter, those will also be discussing nature of God. And some scholars have divided Gita into 3 parts, 1 to 6, 7 to 12, and 13 to 18th. Now 7 to 12, this is sometimes known as Bhakti Yoga, where God in its personal aspect and impersonal aspect is detailed. And the first 6, they say that there you have more of Karma Yoga, more of Karma Yoga. Karma in its external form and also in its internal form. And when you go to 13th onward, it becomes Jnana Yoga. Anyway, those things are immaterial. We will be taking the verses as and when we reach them. The first verse says, it begins by Lord telling that Maya Saktmana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashraya Asankshayam Samagrangma Yatha Gyasyasi Tat Shinu. The devotees who are totally devoted to me, whose mind is totally absorbed in me, and one who has given up every other kind of support. World as support is gone. And even the spiritual paths as support is gone. So for example, there is a yogi. He still holds on to his yoga practices. There's a devotee, he still holds on to his ritualistic worship. Persons who study books and read scriptures, they're still holding on to their Vedas and Bible and things like that. But a true devotee, one who is totally dedicated to God, he has given up everything, everything. Says, Maya Saktmana Partha and Madashraya. Mat means me. A true devotee is dependent entirely on me, and his mind is entirely on me. He gives up every other kind of support. He is a true devotee. Sri Ramakrishna takes it one step further and says that a true devotee, a real sannyas, is one who falls from a palm tree and doesn't even move his hands, knowing that God is there to protect him. He doesn't care for anything. Like a small baby, a 2-month, 3-month-old baby, it's totally dependent on mom for its survival. A real devotee, he is entirely dependent on God for his survival and for his spiritual practices. That means, who can realize God? Only the person who has given up every other support, every other worldly support, religious support and spiritual support. He has given up even the scriptures, his dependence on scriptures, his dependence on sadhana, everything has gone away. That's why when you read these spiritual practices of Sri Ramakrishna, then you find that he had given up, he had no support. The only thing he had was Lord and Lord and Lord, nothing else. In Vedanta sadhana also, same thing happens. You forget everything else and you are absorbed only with neti neti. Other than God, I know nothing. When you go to devotees like Mirabai and all, you find that they had come out of every kind of ritual, every kind of practices. And then she sings, Mere to Giridhar Gopal. I've got only one, and it's Giridhar Gopal. I've got only Krishna. Nothing else is there for me. So it's this kind of spiritual aspirants who ultimately get me. And when it's about knowing me, getting me, two things are involved. How do you know me? In what format you know me? And who I am. So these things will be described in this chapter. Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshami asheshata yad gyatva neha bhuyonyat gyatavyam avashishyate. Lord says, I'll tell you about jnana. I'll also tell you about vijnana. That means, I'll tell you the theoretical aspect of my reality. And I'll also give you the actual realization of it. So Gyan and Vijnana, these terms, earlier also we have discussed in the 4th chapter. Gyan has many connotations. One of the connotations is when you have studied about God through scriptures, or you have mastered it from the masters, and you are convinced that God is like this. This is Gyan. And Vijnana means you actually see it. Sri Ramakrishna puts it beautifully. There are people who have heard of milk, some have seen milk, and others have drunk milk and have made themselves healthy. Jnana means hearing about milk and maybe seeing God. Vijnana is one who has been drinking milk for health. So you actually see God. God talks to you. He is ever present before you. He doesn't appear before you like a magical creature. He doesn't come to you like some kind of illusion. He's actually there. And your worldview changes forever, not for that moment, forever. And as a consequence, once you have known God, nothing else remains to be known in this world. This is one thing you'll find. If you go through different scriptures, they will say that learning is only till you have not known God. Once you have known God, you become master of everything. You don't want to know anything else. Why? Because you have known the ultimate secret of this universe. Something like, just imagine there is gold and there are ornaments. If you want to know about ornaments, you can go on studying them, and you can spend one lifetime and many more lifetimes studying about ornaments. And you can never master the art of making ornaments and every ornament and how many types of ornaments are there. But if you know gold, and once you know that the underlying truth behind every gold ornament is actually gold, and gold is so and so, after that ornaments will not fascinate you. It may fascinate you, but it will not tempt you. Now whether you have gold or ornament, it doesn't make any difference to you, particularly from the scientific standpoint. So once, see, for example, we know that this is water, this is fire, this is air, this is wood, this is me. And these things fascinate us. We like to know more about water. We like to know more about fire. We would like to know about firepower. Once you know that God alone has become all this, then your attitude changes. You don't worry about the other ramifications. You are no more interested. Just like a kid. Say for example, there's a small boy of say 4 years, 5 years old, and he loves his dad. And he gets his dad and he is not interested in how much wealth he has. Now you'll say that when he grows up, he wants to know. No. Whenever we use an example, the point is to be used exactly at the points where these are being discussed. So yad gyatva, once you know God, nothing else remains to be known. You have known everything. You have known the fundamental of the universe, fundamental of creation. You have now known A to Z of creation. Whatever else is there, you know that it's product of, and rather, it's a degraded version of the original. So there is ocean and there are waves. Once you have known the ocean, you may like watching waves, but they don't take away your mind. So once a person has known God, his mind will never go towards his creation. And then he is not curious to know about 1,000 things, because he knows that everything is ultimately gold. And who is the lucky person who knows this? Gyan and Vigyan? Says it's very rare. It's not easy to know. The gurus, the present day gurus, may go on tempting you by telling that they can take you to God and they can take you to realization, things like that. It's not that easy. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kashin mang veti tattvata. Arjuna, it is difficult. It's very difficult to know me. Me means God. Or thousands and thousands of people that abound this earth, very few ever take the path of spirituality. Very few. And of them, of people who have taken to the path of spirituality, rarest of rare can know me, can realize me. Rarest of rare. Now, Swami Vivekananda, in one of his more humorous, or you can say one of those scathing attack mode, he says 80% of the people who take to the path of spirituality become charlatans. They become insincere. And 15% go mad. Only 5% reach God. Shouldn't be taking it literally, but the idea is that very few people who take to the path of spirituality can really attain God. Because it's something like, it's a huge treasure house. Spiritual life is like a huge treasure house. And once you enter, you feel so charmed. Because we are accustomed to the trinkets of the world. And suddenly you see the divine glory, divine beauty. You are charmed. It is not possible for ordinary folks to proceed on the path of spirituality, leaving behind the divine glory that one encounters on the path. It's so beautiful. The powers that come to you, they're so tempting. The riches that come to you, they're so tempting. The sheer power that comes, as you progress on the path of spirituality, the power that comes, the fame that comes, everything that comes, it's so tempting. And you remain stuck. And with that, slowly your power goes away. And suddenly you find that you are left with nothing and you have to start all over again. It's very few people who can cross that path and succeed. So knowing God is impossible, a near impossibility. So after saying this, that this chapter discusses Jnana and Vigyan, number one. Number two, it's nearly impossible to know God. Now the nature of God is discussed starting verse 4. Now verse number 4 and verse number 5, and this basically, verse number 4 and verse number 5, they talk about two realities of the world. The first one is the matter that abounds this universe, and second is the spirit that is the underlying reality in this universe. That is, matter is there and the spirit is there. Matter is dead matter and spirit is the conscious principle. The Lord says that He alone becomes matter and He alone becomes spirit. That means, for example, here it's me Samarpanananda. I am a conglomeration of these two, the matter and the spirit. Matter is God, spirit is also God. Matter is lower form of lower aspect of God, and spirit is the higher aspect of God. So it is known as para prakriti and apara prakriti. Para means higher, apara means lower. So there is that higher nature of God and the lower nature of God. Lower nature is matter, higher nature is spirit. That is, you can say, Atman. Now in the lower nature of God, the verse number 4 says, Bhumirapo nalo vayu khang mano buddhi revacha ahankara iti yang me bhinna prakriti rastadha. Actually, Gita names the term slightly differently from Vedanta. But Acharya Shankara defines it according to Vedanta and says that, if you want you can write it down, that the lower Prakriti of God, which is matter, the world of matter, it has 8 transformations, or you can say evolutes. It's the first thing is you can write nature, nature itself, nature. From nature comes cosmic mind, the universal mind, then cosmic ego, sum total of ego, and from there is born the 5 subtle elements known as tanmatra, 5 subtle elements. So these are the 8: nature itself, cosmic mind, cosmic ego, and 5 subtle elements. The 5 subtle elements are known as Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal. Jal is Prithvi and Earth. So these are not the physical things that we encounter. These are the subtle elements. It's the combination and recombination of these things that form this universe. So these are the 8 evolutes: nature itself, and then these 5. And aparaya mitastvanyam prakritim viddhi me param jiva bhutang mahabaho yedam dharite jagat. Now this matter, this world of matter, it is held by the spirit. And that is the higher nature of God. It's the higher nature of God. For example, this body of Samarpanananda is held because there is the conscious principle inside it. And that conscious principle is the key to my survival. Once it moves away, the body disintegrates. But body disintegrates and it becomes some other form of matter. And that form remains because the God alone, that God alone is inside those atoms also. Otherwise, atom will also disintegrate. Whatever is there in this universe is held together by the conscious principle of God. And that is known as the higher nature of God, Paraprakriti. So this universe, whatever we see in this universe, has 2 forces working, Paraprakriti and Aparaprakriti. Para is the higher nature of God, Apara is lower nature of God. Etad yonini bhutani sarvani tupadharaya aham krishnasya jagata prava palayasthatha. So now God first talks about his nature, lower and high, and then he says that these 2, Paraprakriti and Aparaprakriti, they are the ultimate source of creation of the entire universe. The entire universe comes out due to the interplay of these forces which I am. And so I alone am responsible for the creation, sustenance and dissolution of the entire universe. Not of entire existence. When you think of existence, existence comes into being because of God. It stays, it's held because of God, and it disintegrates because of God. God is that supreme power. He being the superconscious, He being the superconscious. He is the power that creates, sustains, and dissolves. The ultimate power of God is Shishti, Sthiti, Laya. Creation, sustenance, dissolution. One thing, if you want to know about God, what is God? God is one who creates, sustains, and dissolves. In his higher nature, He is the consciousness. In his lower nature, he is the matter. The interplay of that matter and the nature, it creates this existence, the myriads of existence that you see everywhere. This creation comes into being because of God, stays in God, dissolves in God. God alone is responsible for creation. The easiest description, the nearest description that we can make of God is, He is the master of universe, master in every sense of the word. In spite of the creation, the infinite varieties in creation that you find says that, God says, look, everything is in me. How? The way there is a pearl necklace and there are different pearls of different sizes, different hues, different colors. They are all strung in a single necklace. Matta partaram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutre mani ganaiva. The way different pearls and diamonds and really very expensive jewelry, gems, they are strung in a single necklace. Just like that, everything in this universe is strung in me. That means I am the essence, I am the thread running through the entire existence. If I am not running through a thing, that thing will stop from being. The existence of a thing is simply because I am there. How? Now it is elaborating, and this elaboration will continue in the next chapters too. Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo pranava sarva vedeshu shabda ke paurusham nrishu. Says, wherever you find some kind of liquid, any kind of liquid, know that rasa. Rasa is known as essence of liquid. So when we taste water, normally rasa is translated as something tasty. But rasa basically means the taste that comes through our taste buds. Liquids are supposed to have rasa. That is their property. Says, wherever there is any kind of liquid, I am that rasa. The fluidity, the taste that is in the nature of fluids, that I am. And whatever is lighted being like sun and the moon, I am their light. Because for us, the relevance of sun and moon lies in its being lighted. It says, I am that light. If I am not there, they will become dead rocks. Pranava sarva vedeshu. So, all the Vedas, Rig, Sam, Yajur, Athar, I am Om. Om is the essence of all these Vedas. If you take away Om, the Vedas have no significance, no relevance. And Shabda ke Paurusham Rishu. This, we mentioned the 5 elements, Akash, Vayu. Says that property of Akash is sound. Akash is not the sky that we see, and sound is not the sound that we hear. It is more mystical. We will be discussing sometime these things maybe in more detail. So it says that the ether, it's not the ether of physics, it's not the ether of Greek philosophers. Here, ether, actually Akash is the term, it has a property of carrying sound. Not the sound that we hear, but at a subtler level. Says, the Akash particle, I am Shabda. And wherever you find vigor, Paurush, Paurush means manliness. Know that I am that manliness, I am that strength that brings manliness into a man. Punyo Gandha Pratibhyam cha. One by one, the Lord is talking about various subtle elements, which was mentioned earlier. So from Akash, he moves over to the earth. It's not this earth, but what happens in the scheme of creation, the format of creation that the Hindus follow? They say that there is that mother nature, and from mother nature comes cosmic mind, and comes cosmic ego, and from cosmic ego comes 5 subtle elements. These 5 subtle elements, which we mentioned earlier, Akash, Vayu, Agni, water and earth. These are not the physical things that we see, but subtle. And they have their tanmatras, they have their properties. Properties of what? Shabda, Sparsa, Roop, Ras, Gandha. Shabda is that sound and touch, visibility and taste, smell. And it is from these 5 characteristics that the next flow of elements come, and from there comes real 5 subtle elements from where creation flows. And then you have electron, proton, neutron, etc. Punyo Gandha, everything that is noble in this earth, the noble smell, the good smell, I am. So what about the bad odor? What about the bad smell? Says it is because of the mixing from the outside. I am that pure smell. Tejas chasmi vibhavaso. So the light that is there in the fire, I am that. Jivanam sarva bhuteshu. Life that you find in living beings, that I am. And tapaschasmi tapasvishu. The great sages, they perform tapasya, they perform austerities. That tapasya, it's me. Unless I am present in a tapasvi, unless I am present in a sage, he will not be able to perform tapasya. Any noble act by a noble person is performed because Lord himself is present there, and that's why the noble acts can be performed. Bijang mang sarva bhutanam vidhi partha sanatanam. See, I am the seed of everything that is there. Anything that is born, or anything that grows up, I am that seed. And buddhir buddhimatam asmi. I know that I am the intelligence of the intelligent. When you meet someone who is intelligent, know that I am present there as intelligence. Basically, God means Atman. Atman means essence. Atman, the real meaning of Atman is essence. Now, whenever you come across anything, you know that thing by its essence. So, for example, there is elephant. We know that elephant has intelligence. And elephant has strength. It says that of all the animals, elephant has maximum intelligence and strength. Now, supposing you say that elephant is characterized by strength, or lion is characterized by strength. So, strength is the Atman of that lion. And that strength is God himself. The essence of anything is God himself. Buddhir buddhimatam asmi tejas tejasvinamaham. So you find tejasvi people. People who have special strength. I am that. It is because of me that they get that power. Balam balvatam chaham kam raga vivarjitam. And they are strong people, they are powerful people. I am the strength. Minus the desires. If these powerful people are running after things with desires, don't count me as desires. I am the actual strength. Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bhartarsabha. When people have desires, but that doesn't go against scriptural injunction, know that it's me. That means, when a husband loves wife, know that God is present there. Wife loves husband, God is present there. And whenever there is dharma abiruddha, dharma viruddha, that means extramarital, God is not present there. Initially, God will be describing the noble things. And then later on, he will be describing that whatever is bad, that also is God. But initially, when people are to be brought to spiritual life, God begins with everything that's noble. So, to begin with, God is the power, God is the essence, and God is nobility. Ye chaiva sattvika bhava rasas tamsaschiye matte veti tan viddhi nattvaham teshu te mayi. People are of different dispositions. There are some people who are very noble, there are people who are achievers, and there are people who are harmful, who are vicious. Know that whatever the type, It's me. It's me whose presence is making them noble, achievers, and vicious. Even the vicious people, it's me. Matte veti tan. They are all born because of me. Because I was there, that's why they are born. Because no existence is possible without me. He's trying to make Arjuna understand that me, the God, I become everything. And yet, I am totally beyond them. They cannot control them, but I control them. So, says that although me, the God, I am eternally free, I am eternally untouched, but it's me who gives them all this power. It's something like, if you can think of sun, you find that whatever is there on this earth is because of sun. If there is Himalaya, it is because of the sun. And if there is water, it is because of sun. And if there is fire, it's because of sun. If there is snow, it's because of sun. If I am alive, it's because of sun. If somebody is dead, it's because of, everything is because of sun. It's the sunlight and the sun that has created this earth and everything that is there on this earth. And yet, sun is totally untouched by anything that we do here. God is something like that. If you really want to understand the relationship between God and existence, the easiest thing is to understand the relationship between sun and earth. Earth has come out of sun, and everything that continues in this earth is due to sun. But sun itself is totally detached. It has, whatever we are doing here has no bearing on the sun. Even if we explode 100 atom bombs, that's not going to affect sun in any way. And that explosion of atomic bomb is simply because the sun is there. If sun had not been there, these atomic explosions would have never taken place. So will you blame sun for that? You cannot blame sun for that. Just like that, anything that we do is possible simply because God has been there. But we cannot blame God for anything that's happening there. No, these things are slightly difficult to understand, but then these are the basic truth. It says that, how does God create this universe? Trivir gunmayir bhave evi sarvamedam jagat. Whatever is there in this universe is born of these three gunas: sattva, rajas, tamas. Nobility, motion, and inertia, inertness. And people are so deluded by these three qualities that they know this universe, they don't know me. It is in the nature of our mind, it is just in the nature of our mind to appreciate everything that has the same constitution as that of mind. And mind is constituted of these three qualities: the noble, the active, and the inert. Inert is tamogun, active is rajogun, noble is sattvagun. Whatever is there in the universe, just like three colors creating every other color in this universe, these three qualities create everything in this universe. It says, the world is so charmed, deluded, and overpowered by these three qualities that people, that means those who identify themselves with their mind, can never know me. So who can know me, and how can one know me? This will be discussed in the next verses, which we will take up next time. Starting verse number 14, where the discussion will focus on why one cannot know God, how to know God, who knows God. So that idea, who knows God. So verse number 1 to 13 focus more on the nature of God. Starting verse 14, it's about who can know God. So here we end.